Hello, I want to share with you all a quick recipe I'm doing today using the Aztec tortilla soup mix. I actually am taking one of the recipes from the website and I am altering it slightly just to fit what we're doing. And so I'm actually going to show you all the website here. I've got pulled up on my computer. It'll probably be backwards for you guys, I'm sorry. But if you go to the search engine and you type in whatever ingredients you have, I've typed in Aztec tortilla soup here, and hit enter, then on the website it's going to come up with products over here. So if you wanted to shop for this item, you could find it here unless it's out of stock, which it is at the moment, but it would come up in the products section, or you can also find recipes. So the Aztec tortilla soup recipe I want to use, I actually scrolled down a bit and found this Saucy Azteca chicken, and I think that'll work really well for my family. So I click on that recipe and then the recipe comes up for me. Now according to this recipe, you would chop peppers, zucchini, heat some oil up in a wok, cook your chicken, which they suggest boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and then you cook your veggies with that and you add your seasonings and things. I'm going to change it up slightly, which you will see, but I'm using this as my base recipe, and the recipe would be great if you wanted to just do that. So I'm going to set my camera up here on my stand, and I stuck my arm in food already, and of course I don't have my apron on, but oh well. Here's what I have done already. I actually have some boneless, skinless chicken breast fillets. I buy these frozen at Costco, and I'm actually leaving them frozen. I've just filled the bottom of my casserole dish with this. There's like 15 of those little fillets in here. And this is going to be our supper later on, and so I just threw those in. I'm going to make the sauce mix to kind of go on top, and then stick this in the fridge, and by the time it's time to be cooked, that chicken will be thawed enough that it'll cook through fine. So I'm going to angle the camera down. I do have a wok on this stove. Actually, first I'm going to bring the camera over here and show you. I am chopping up some zucchini. So I will angle the camera down. I have our one of our cutting mats down, and I have our Prep Pro paring knife, which you can get now, the chef knife, and I'm just using that to cut up zucchini. It calls for one zucchini. My zucchini is rather large, so I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm just going to probably use about half of my zucchini, and I'm just dicing it fairly small chunks, because I'm also going to cheat a bit on my peppers and onions. I've got frozen peppers and onions already chopped and ready to go, and I'm going to use those to save me some time. And I'm trying to get the zucchini similar in size to what I know those chunks are. So just dicing that up. Let's see here where we are. I'm going to add just a little bit more. And sometimes when you have zucchini, you get these great big seeds in the middle. I'm just going to kind of cut out that center section so I don't have to worry about those great big seeds going in, because that wouldn't be very appealing or appetizing in our casserole. So I'm just kind of cutting those out, pulling them out, just like you would pull out the seeds and things from a pumpkin. You can do that with your zucchini. And then I'll slice this in nice small chunks. And this is probably the hardest part of this meal, honestly, is slicing the zucchini, which is not hard at all. So the way I'm doing this meal anyway, it is going to be quick and easy, easy, easy. Okay, that's probably enough zucchini. So now we will move over to the stove, and I'll set you up so you can see my wok. There we go. I'm going to get a little oil in the wok, Now, like I said, in the original recipe, you would cook your chicken up in this oil and then you would add the veggies. So we're gonna lose a little bit of that chicken flavor, but I think it'll be fine. I'm just gonna heat that up and then I'm gonna pull my onions and peppers out of the fridge. Actually, it doesn't call for onion, but I'm adding onion anyway because we love onion. So I'm gonna pull those out of the freezer, ready to go. And so here's what I've got for peppers. Actually, I realize these are not the chopped ones, but I'll just give them a quick chop on my cutting board. And I've got some pre-diced onion. This makes life easier in those times where you don't have a lot of time. So we're definitely gonna do that. The oil's starting to heat up. I think I can add my onion. We love onion, so I'm adding, a good heaping half a cup there, I'd say. And I'm gonna add my zucchini. I'm just gonna saute this all up. And then we're gonna add in our seasonings and things. You will see. There, zucchini, onion, and yeah, I'm gonna give some of these peppers a quick rough chop, maybe. Let's see if I can. They're pretty frozen. You might just throw them in the way they are. Oh, I can do it quick. You're gonna see, nothing's gonna be the same size like I thought I was making it. That's okay. It's all gonna taste good, and that's what's important. Now, you can also just use this Azteca tortilla soup mix to make soup. I have done that, but I think for my crew, this is gonna be more of a hit to have the casserole type dish. I just know what my family likes. They like some soups, but the tortilla soup, like the Mexican flavored soups, are not their favorite. They prefer things like that in casseroles and such. You could also honestly do this, what we're doing here, kind of shred your chicken up with it, and use it as filling for tacos. I think that would be really good too. So we're just gonna let that start to cook a bit. And while that's cooking, I'm gonna prepare my seasoning mix, which I will show you in a moment. I just want to kind of stir that up and get it so that it's all incorporated. Okay, we'll just let that cook for a moment, and I'm going to bring you back over here. And now I'm going to show you what we're going to prep for the other part of this. I am pulling out my chicken broth mix. Now, this is called Nourish Broth now. They have changed the name a bit just because of how they have to market it, but it is the same thing. Nourish Broth is the same as chicken broth. And so we're gonna pull that out. We're gonna get a cup of hot water. You could also use vegetable broth if you prefer, but we're gonna use the chicken broth today, since we are using chicken anyway. All right, I've got a cup of hot water here. And to that, I am going to add 1.5 teaspoons of our mix. Where is my spoon? Okay, my Epicure 4-in-1 spice spoon is great for this. So I want 1.5 teaspoons. On one side of this, it has 1 teaspoon. On the other side, it has 1/2 teaspoon or 1/4 teaspoon. And then this side is your tablespoon. So we're gonna use this side to get 1 teaspoon and then flip it over and use the other side to get 1/2 teaspoon. And that's it for your chicken broth. Super easy. I'm gonna give it a little whisk And I've got chicken broth ready to go. And this is really good chicken broth, low in sodium, has a great flavor. I've really been enjoying adding this to soups and things. And so that, along with, I've got a can of crushed tomatoes that I've opened, and I really just need 1 cup of those crushed tomatoes. So I'm going to measure out a cup. And then our tortilla soup mix is the other thing we're adding to this for our seasonings and our sauce, I guess, because it is called a saucy chicken dish. So that's what we're working on now, are the elements of the sauce. Okay, I've got a cup of the crushed tomatoes ready to go in. I've got my package of Azteca tortilla soup mix, which I'm going to open with our Prep Pro scissors. These work amazingly. And that's all ready to add. I'm going to move the camera back over to my wok. We're just going to flip things around here. Hopefully y'all can see. Maybe. Sometimes my stand doesn't want to work where I want it to work. I have to move it around. There we go. All right. These are starting to get tender already. They're just going to need to cook up a tiny bit. Because I am preparing this ahead of time, I'm not going to worry about completely cooking my veggies because they're going to finish cooking in the oven in a little bit. But we just want them to start to get tender. And then we can pour our Azteca tortilla soup mix over it and let those flavors start to develop. Oh yeah, it smells good already. Look at all that spice and seasoning. Oh, it smells amazing. Okay, there's that. I love, by the way, mixing my spices in with my oils or just my veggies and really letting those flavors develop. This is a great way to add a lot of flavor right from the get-go in your recipes. Mix it in during this stage. Oh, yeah. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and stir in this broth and the crushed tomatoes, which is really a lot like tomato sauce, honestly. And stir that all around. And then we're just going to let this cook and until it kind of reduces a bit and becomes a sauce. And once that is finished, we will pour that sauce all over our chicken, top it with some cheese, and it'll be ready to throw in the oven when we're ready to eat. I'm going to cook it in the oven for 30 minutes because that should give plenty of time for everything to heat through, the chicken to cook through. But you could also, like I said, follow the recipe on the website, have it done right away. You could throw it in the oven immediately, and then the sauce would already be hot, which would help speed things up a bit. You could cook your chicken ahead of time, have it in, so really all you have to do is warm it. But what I'm going to do is cook it at 350 for about 30 minutes when we are ready. And I will bring you back to show you when this sauce has reduced to what we want it to be. Okay, my sauce is nice and thickened, and so now I'm just going to take my pan of chicken I've got here, and I'm just going to pour the sauce right over that. Now, I have a bad arm, so it's hard for me to do this, or a bad wrist, I guess, but there we go, look at it. Okay, I don't know if y'all can see that with all the steam. I'm so sorry. All right, but it's all on there. I'm gonna get it all in and then just spread it out over the chicken. This is gonna be a nice sauce on here. Now I'm also serving this with rice. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually using my rice cooker, but I am throwing some of that chicken broth seasoning in with it, as well as a teaspoon of fajita seasoning. So I can make kind of, and I'm also gonna throw in teaspoon of cumin, so I can make kind of a Mexican rice in my rice cooker. And I'll serve this with that, and I'll probably put some blue corn tortillas on the side. I love those blue corn tortillas, so that'll give us a little crunch. They can crush it up on top of their chicken, or just have it on the side. But I am going to top this with some cheese. I've got some pre-shredded cheese in here right now that I need to use up. So and I'm pretty generous with cheese. We love cheese, so I'm gonna sprinkle that all over the top. Let's see, probably a couple cups of cheese altogether. A couple good handfuls. So it's a nice cheesy. All right, and there, I'm gonna put that in my fridge with the lid on it, and then when we are ready to eat, I'll pop that in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes. Now, because that sauce was hot when I poured it over the chicken, it's actually already gonna start to cook that chicken for me a bit, and so it won't take long for this to heat through and cook that chicken, and that will be our supper. I will try to get a picture to add to this video, but I am gonna be gone when my family eats, so I make no guarantees on that. But hope you all enjoy this recipe anyway, and I'll see you next time.